Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome. And thank you for participating in today's Ohigan service. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Ralph Honda, and I will be the chairperson for the service today. We will begin this morning service with ringing of the concho. The calling bell as that will begin our service. Good morning. You know, at one point, there was a chance that today's gathering would be held in person. But unfortunately, with the continuing concerns of the Delta variant and the coronavirus increasing, the welfare and safety of our Sangha was first and foremost. Therefore, today's service is being presented to everyone in the comforts of your homes. Well, except for me. I'm standing in a familiar spot that you might be able to recognize. I'm at the podium in the Temple Hondo. During the Kancho, there was slides of the meaning of our observance today of Ohigan and the practicing of the 6 Paramitas. Today, we're very privileged to have as our guest speaker, our resident minister, Reverend Dr. Kenji Akahoshi, who will share the Dharma messages to both the Dharma school and to the adults. So we will now continue with this morning service with Kenji Sensei, who will lead the chanting of the Sambujo, the reading of the Hyobyakumon, Sankyamon, and he will lead us with the chanting of the Jusege. Please remember that during the service to remain muted. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Please join me in Gassho, Nembutsu Gassho. Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda. 三部上。無常弥陀如来二有道三け無常釈迦如来二有道三け無常実法如来二有道三けWe are gathered here today in the light of Amida's compassion to observe the fall Ohigan, the equinox. This is the season where the length of the day and night are equal. The balance of light and dark, cold and heat symbolizes the middle path that leads from this shore of ignorance and dissatisfaction to the other shore of awakening and joy. We express our appreciation for the 6 Paramitas which guide us toward this awakening. In gratitude, let us recite the Sankhya Mon. Gasho. Namo Kia Butsu, Namo Kia Ho, Namo Kia So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida. Please join me in chanting Yusei-ge. Agon Chosei-gan Ishimu Jodo Shigan Fumando Seifu Josho ga Gao Muryoko Ui Dai Seishu Usai Shobingu Seifu Shoujo ga Gashi Yobundo Yosho Chojipo Ukyomi Shomon Seifu Yosho ga Ryokujin Shoden Yoe Shubongyo しぐむ浄土、一生天人し、人力現代公、無償無才道、少女三苦行、交際集約難、回避知恵言、名詞根毛案、永足小悪道、通達全宗門、放送上満道、いよろ実法、1月修十期、天候音空言、一周解放像、法制空読法、上大集中、説法ししく、空用一切部、有足習得本、観念出上満、徳意三害王、両仏無下地、通達未不詳、感覚営利、投資最小尊、志願薬国家、大戦王感動、多空小天人、東宇鎮夜明け、アンマンダブ、アンマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、ナマンダブ、アンニシクドク、平等性際、道愛心、往生、安念仏合唱。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナモ阿弥陀仏。ナマンダ、ナマンダ。
Thank you very much, Kenji Sensei. At this time, for all you Dharma School students who are logged on to the Zoom, Kenji Sensei will now give you all a Dharma message. Sensei?
Good morning. You know, it's a real treat for me to talk to the Dharma School students. Today is a special day. It's called Ohigan, where we have the days and nights that are even. And it symbolizes the middle path. And it's really important to know why it is important. Because as we grow up, our parents and teachers kind of teach us how to behave. You know, what good behavior is and what bad behavior is. And sometimes we don't know what to do. But it's an easy way to know as a Buddhist. Because if we're mostly thinking of me, that's not so good. But if we are thinking of other people, it's better. So why is this? Because the me is always part of the we. You know, we still have to think of me, right? You can't think of other people all the time. And so there is part of me, but there's we, the others. And so it's a balance of things. This is what Ohigan tells us. And this middle path might sound complicated, but can you balance? How many people ride a bicycle or a skateboard? I'm not so good on the skateboard, but that's balancing. Now, do you ride the bike on the right side or left side? No, right in the middle. And so we learn that things have a right and a wrong, a good and a bad, but it's the balance of these things. So let me tell you a story. And this was a time before the Buddha became the Buddha. His name was Siddhartha, as you remember, and I think all Dharma school students know this. Well, he had a cousin named Devadatta. And Devadatta was always kind of jealous of the Buddha because the Buddha was seemed so important, everyone liked him. One day, Devadatta was out hunting and he shot a swan. And the Buddha was also out there and he saw this. And so he ran over and got the swan. Now, Devadatta said he wanted to, kill the swan and eat it. But the Buddha refused to give him the bird. And the Buddha, at the time, he was Siddhartha. So he took him home, took the arrow out and healed the bird so he could let him go later. And Devadatta was very angry with this. Well, later, when they were both grown up, Devadatta did some very bad things to his mother and father. And because of that, he started to have these terrible sores all over his body. This was, bad karma. This is because he was always doing some terrible things. Now, since they had grown up, Siddhartha had become the Buddha. And as the Buddha, he knew that Devadatta had done some bad things. But the Buddha had compassion. And he wanted to help Devadatta. So he taught him the 6 Paramitas. And this is generosity, discipline, patience, perseverance, meditation, concentration, and wisdom. And so at Ohigan, we learn these things that will help us in life, because we could live kind of a sloppy life, just doing things half awake, or we can really try to wake up. And when we wake up, we really tend to help others. And so because of the Buddha's compassion, Devadatta was able to become a Bodhisattva, a person who helps others. And he was able to work hard for others. And so he accepted the compassion of others. And so as Bodhisattvas, what we do is we can help others. And as Devadatta did this, he became well. So it's important to think how we can help others. And what do we say every Sunday? We often chant the golden chain. I will help all those who are weaker than myself. And as we help others, we realize that others have always helped us. We say, Namo Amidapu, thank you for your thoughts and your compassion. So Ohigan reminds us that me is always part of we. I'm always part of everyone else. And saying thank you, Namo Amidapu, reminds us that all the things we have received from others, and we find great joy in helping others. We thank the Buddha and even Devadatta for helping us learn this lesson. So remember, I'm always with everyone else with Amida Buddha. The me is within the we. And so for parents, I want to give this last little note. Reverend Laverne asked the question of many of the Dharma School parents about what questions they had about Dharma School, what they wanted their children to learn. And so I just want to make this comment that every week, if a child comes to Dharma School, he may spend about an hour and a half. How much time does a student spend in school, regular school? Maybe 30, 40 hours. And how much time during the week does he or she watch TV or on a computer? So you see, an hour and a half of Dharma school versus so many hours at school or watching TV or on a computer, it doesn't compare. And so it's important that we teach our Dharma school students by modeling or showing by example the teachings of the Buddha. Because I think children always learn by watching and copying. And so if as parents we're unsure of what the Dharma is saying, we encourage you to listen to our talks, especially come to our Dharma discussions, which we have on Buddhism 1, 2, 3. And you can ask me anytime, any questions you have. And just by living these 6 paramitas, I'll talk to parents about this a little later, we can model for our children what helps them in life. And with that, I will end this talk, and thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Kenji Sensei, for that wonderful message for the Dharma School. You know, as you were sharing the story about Prince Siddhartha and Devadatta, it reminded me of the time when I heard that story when I was in Dharma School just a few years ago. But when I was a young boy, you know, we often listened to our sensei or our teachers tell us the story of the story of the Prince Siddhartha and Devadatta, and the relationship of how it affects us in our lives today. So thank you very much, Sensei, for that wonderful story. So hope Dharma School children, you'll have that to remember and to share as you grow. At this time, I'd like to introduce Jamie Shimizu from the Scholarship Committee. She will be recognizing the scholarship recipients for the 2021 year.
Thank you, Ralph. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. So good morning. It's very nice to see so many Sangha members and friends join us for today's service. As Ralph had introduced, my name is Jamie Shimizu. I'm one of the Temple's Scholarship Committee members. And this morning, the BTSD Scholarship Committee will be presenting the long-awaited scholarship awards to 10, and yes, I said 10, recipients for the 2021-2022 academic school year. So before doing so, we would like to thank the Sangha members and friends for your support for the scholarship fund. Interest alone from the principal would not allow us to offer scholarships each year. The reasons we are able to offer scholarships is through funds provided by the Sangha and their check-off boxes on the membership forms, and by the support of the Sangha and community of the Ohigan resale shop. Although the Ohigan shop has been temporarily closed due to the pandemic, we would still like to extend our deepest gratitude to the avid supporters and volunteers for the shop. So essentially, thank you all for your support. So now back to the presentations. As mentioned earlier, we have 10 awards this year, 5 in each category. Sorry. Yeah. And we're going to be doing this a little different than we normally do, than we were in person. This year we asked because we haven't seen each other in a while, there was a suggestion to have a PowerPoint presentation and kind of show the photos of all the recipients, just to remind and just so people can see like whoever all these students are and the recipients are. So these photos were added to this PowerPoint presentation. And so without further ado, we'll go ahead and do the presentation. So receiving the Ben Honda Memorial High School Graduate Scholarships are Evan Ong, who currently is majoring in mechanical engineering at Mesa Community College. We have Chad Sasaki, who was accepted at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo to pursue a major in communications. These next two recipients I'm going to do a special recognition to them for their leadership roles in Junior YBA as well as the Southern District Junior YBA. They played they did a lot of work with the Junior YBA and also were part of I believe the Southern District board as well. Jenna Sasaki, she was accepted at the University of California, Riverside with a major in business. And Zoe Yamamoto was accepted at the University of California, Irvine, and she will be pursuing a major in either computer or data science. And the last recipient for the Ben Honda Memorial High School Graduate Scholarship is Emma Yanagihara. She was accepted at Boise State University with a major in child development. Okay, so if we can give all these, I know I can't say everyone, but just like a silent round of applause for all the high school graduates and the recipients for the scholarship. Okay, so now we'll move on to the Tetsuyo Kashima Memorial Continuing Higher Education Scholarship. The recipients for this scholarship are Kyle Baker. He is a sophomore at San Diego State University. We have Sarah Matsumoto. She is a first-year graduate student at Northwestern University and is pursuing her major in physical therapy. We would also like to especially recognize her because of her efforts with Dharma School. She was one of the high school teachers who taught for a while and also contributed a lot to the staff and teachers as well, just ideas and everything. So moving on to our next recipient, we have Trevor Muraoka. He is a senior at the University of California, Berkeley, and majoring in mechanical engineering. Our next recipient is Davis Ong, a senior at the University of Arizona, majoring in sociology. And the last recipient for the Continuing Education Scholarship is Mark Torrio. He is a senior at San Diego State University and is majoring in electrical engineering. So again, if we could do another round of applause for these continuing education recipients. So congratulations to all of you. And in addition to the awards that they will be getting, their graduating high school seniors will be receiving a copy of the Dhammapada, and the continuing education recipients will be receiving a copy of Thich Nhat Hanh's Finding Our True Home, Living in the Pure Land Here and Now, which were donated by a former committee member. I'm not sure if he would like to be named, but thank you for doing that. So what I'd like to do is just a little different. I know we have some of the recipients in attendance today and some of their family members as well. So to end this presentation, I'm gonna see if we can go into gallery view just so of all the attendees and whoever is in attendance for the recipients, if they could just do a quick wave if you're willing to do so. That way everyone can see who's here. Okay. So again, thank you to all of the recipients, and do one last round of applause. Congratulations to all of you, and the best of luck to all of you in school for the coming year. I know all of you have pretty much started school already, so good luck with school. Okay. So, so moving on, I'm going to go ahead and just move on to the next portion of the service. We're going to, at this time, dismiss the Dharma School students to their class, their breakout classrooms. So if everyone else can please stay tuned for the remainder of the service, that would be great. And so we'll go ahead and dismiss. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Jamie, for the presentation, and to the all of the recipients of the scholarships for this year. Quite an achievement, and as you can see, we have very many very wonderful, well-rounded scholars among our temple Sangha. You know, there's one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning, but at the end of the service, we will have a Zoom social that's open to all Sangha members, and they'll be put into various breakout rooms to see one another and to chat a little bit. So look forward to that at the very end. And now I'd like to reintroduce Kenji Sensei, who will share his Dharma message for the adults. Sensei, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ralph. Let's settle our minds by first chanting Vandana Tisarana. So please chant along with me. Namo tassa bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhasa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightenedly awakened one. Buddha Sadanam Gacchami. Dhamma Sadanam Gacchami. Sangha Sadanam Gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namo Kie Butsu. Namo Kie Ho. Namo Kie So. Nembutsu Gasho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Good morning again, and welcome to our Ohigan service. I think this is one of my favorite services, and I think it's because it's so special. It's so important that, you know, we have 2 Ohigan services a year. Now, the other major services we have usually mark the birth date or the death date of major people like the Buddha, Shinran. We also have the Buddha's enlightenment, and we have special services honoring those who have passed on, our loved ones. And here we have Ohigan 2 times a year. You know, why is it so important that we have this service twice and other services are once a year? I think because it points out a foundational element in the Buddha's teaching. And this foundational element is called non-duality. And that's kind of a, you know, difficult concept when we use these terms. And the reason we use it is because Buddhism works on a different system. You know, we are used to thinking in dualistic terms, and that's our default. I mean, we just think good, of course, bad, up, down. You need the opposite side. So it seems to be natural that in order to have an inside, you need an outside. Good, bad, myself, others, life and death. Everything has this dualistic way, and we live our lives this way. But you know, this dualistic system, only one side seems to be the winner, and the other side loses. So it's unresolved. People really kind of fight, you know, I'm right, no, you're wrong. It has this dualistic system. And yet in Buddhism, we talk about it being non-dual. What does that mean? One way we can think of this is that both sides are valid, both sides are important, and both sides complete the whole. So it's a holistic system. It thinks about, you know, everything. Because in order to have a form, you need emptiness. A better example might be to see black letters, you need a white background. You need these opposites to kind of get, you know, what it's meaning. But then one side is not more correct than the other. You need both sides. So you see, this is a different kind of system. Now, with this non-dual system of wholeness, you can have many, you know, right answers. So it is a little difficult way of thinking of things, but let's try this as an example. You know, most countries in the world value themselves according to their GDP, their gross domestic product. And usually it's money, you know, how important or valuable is the country? And they, you know, point to how much money that country may be worth. But about 10 years ago, Bhutan started a different system. They emphasized that their country, their value of their country was based on happiness, how happy their citizens were. So it's not measured in dollars, but it was measured on how happy their people were. So you see, it is a different system. And so with this dualism and non-dual thinking, we have a different system. Now, why does Buddhism use this non-dual system? Because it's true. You know, good does not eliminate bad. It balances bad, as I was telling the children. This holistic system doesn't eliminate the other side, it balances it. And so we continue to have me within the we. It's the middle path, right, wrong, you know, darkness, light, hot and cold. So it's a way of balancing or having harmony. Even Socrates apparently had trouble really figuring out this duality. And it's because, again, things are unresolved. And with a non-dual system, we value the other side, and it's necessary to have balance. And the goal is not to pick one side or the other, but it's to transcend things. And as we balance things, we have harmony. Everything is balanced. And so by viewing life from this non-dual different system, you know, a lot of things in our life can be resolved. And in other words, we don't have to eliminate something. We look for ways of including the other side and balancing it. Now, it takes a little more skill to have this thought and to have this harmony in our life. And it takes practice. Now, I had a teacher, Dr. Effie Chow. I was doing Tai Chi, I think, at the time in Chinese medicine. Her teacher was Miriam Lee. Miriam Lee is the lady that had the test case of including acupuncture as an acceptable medical treatment in California. This was in the 1970s. Well, Effie Chow said that Americans are kind of choosy when we do these Eastern practices, where we pick and choose, where we do things in the cafeteria style. We like this, we don't like that. But what she said was that Chinese medicine is not just, you know, doing acupuncture or meditation, you know, picking and choosing. And she said that all of these things have to be taken together. That one must meditate, have a good diet, exercise, you know, perhaps take herbs, acupuncture. All these things are taken together. So we just don't pick and choose and say, oh, I don't want to do acupuncture, but I'll take some herbs, or, you know, I'll meditate, but I don't like to exercise. And so you see, we do have to take all these things as a means of accomplishing something. Now, this is where the 6 Paramitas come in. You know, these are practices of a Bodhisattva. And these practices help us. Now, we're, in a sense, all Bodhisattvas, in the sense that we can wake up, we can become Buddhas. We have that potential. And what we're waking up to is reality. And it's a path, it's a method. And it brings value to our lives. As I said, the me is part of the we. And what we're looking at is bringing happiness to all beings. So it's trying to be thinking of others as we do these 6 Paramitas. Now, we're not monks, we're ordinary people. And so there are a lot of things that challenge us. And because we're not monks, we have busy lives, you know, children, work, all these things. And so we might think, oh, this is too complicated. All these Paramitas, you know, it's too hard. And yet, what is it that we need to do most importantly? To live life. And these are guides to life. They may seem difficult because life is difficult. So these challenges can be handled by practicing the 6 Paramitas. Now, if we had a job, if we just wanted to get by, you know, we would learn the basics and do okay. You know? But if we wanted to advance, we'd have to have more skills, more knowledge. And if we wanted to master something, we would really have to put in a lot of effort. And so we could look at life that way. Do we just want to do the basics and kind of get by and hope for the best? Or do we want to put some effort into it? This is life. And we come and we listen to the Dharma. And yet if we don't put some things into practice, we may wonder, why doesn't our life work? And so it does take an effort. And what are these things that we talked about? We'll go through them. Now, often it takes many English words to kind of fulfill the meaning of the Sanskrit words. And that's because these thoughts are very deep, very complex. And the first one you're familiar with is dana. It's generosity or selfless giving, where we give a gift and then we forget that we even gave a gift. And it doesn't have to be a gift that's material. It could be just a smile or a few kind words. And then once we give it, we just forget that we gave something. The second is sila, discipline, or a guide to life. This is where it takes some effort. The third is patience. Often we think, oh, I can't, it's difficult to be patient. I'm anxious to do something. But sometimes we just have to wait for things to happen. And that may take years, it may take decades, but there's patience. And the fourth is perseverance. And again, we may use different words like endeavor or vitality, but there's some energy that we need to put in it and, really kind of stay at it. And then there's danya, meditation. It could be mindfulness, concentrated meditation. Now, the last one is wisdom. That's a very hard word to kind of explain. But we might think of it as just being truth, a truth that we know through experience. It's a knowing. And wisdom is expressed as compassion. So although these are difficult things, when we look at it, we realize that these are practices that we might use to become adults. And I was looking at these things and thinking, wow, they are difficult. And as a Shin Buddhist, as an ordinary person, I'm thinking, I don't know if I can fulfill these things. And yet, I don't think I'm expected to. These are guidelines, like the 5 precepts. And that as an ordinary person, we're encouraged to follow these things because they do help us resolve issues in life. And yet, we don't fulfill them. But as I was looking at these practices, I realized that it may not be just the practice that we achieve. These are things that I have been receiving from others. Others have always, been patient with me. They've been generous, mindful. They've given me wisdom. These are the attributes that others have already given to me. And it might be given in the story of Shandao or Zendo in crossing the river of fire and the river of water, where the person is going through this white path, very narrow path between the river of fire and river of water. Behind them, Shakyamuni Buddha is encouraging me to go to have confidence. And these are, in a sense, my achievement. But on the other side, we have Amida Buddha saying, come, I'll take care of you, you are safe. And this is the efforts of others. This is where I've been receiving these things from many other been a part of my life. And going back in my life, I'm looking at generosity. I'm thinking when I was in dental school, I was having a hard time with pharmacology. And our instructor, Dr. Vicky Sutherland, a very well-known researcher, had a whole. And I told her one day in class that I was having trouble understanding. And she said, well, when do you have time? And I said, I'm a dental student. I don't have any free time. And she said, what about lunch? I said, yeah. So I would go in during lunchtime and she would kind of go over a lecture or some points that I didn't understand. Now that's generosity. That's the same kind of thing that Reverend Dr. David Matsumoto did with his students at IBS. He asked us if we had time to practice chanting. I said, no, we don't have time, we're students. And he said, what about lunch? So during lunch, this very busy professor, and at that time he was minister at Berkeley, would help us chanting during lunchtime. And that's generosity. Discipline. And discipline, I'm familiar with that because in dental school, these instructors kept telling us, do it over again, do it right. And we saw our instructors in Japan during Tokudo, our ordination, would make us chant or do these sayings or procedures until we did it right. There was discipline there, but we were really impressed by how they did things so precisely. So then we were receiving these things in patience. You know, I think everyone's been patient with me over the years, just waiting for me to get my act together. Now, perseverance. I've seen that and experienced that, especially through my father. Right after the war, I remember he worked 7 days a week. That's something I wonder about people myself. Could I work 7 days a week for several years? But he did that. And my mother, she took on a full-time job when I went away to college. I didn't think too much about it at the time, but of course she was doing that for me. And so there's this effort, looking long-term. People have always given me these things to help me. Now there's also meditation. And up in the Bay Area, I did a lot with the Soto Zen community. And here I learned meditation. And there were teachers there who helped me. And the last one, wisdom. There is a story of in Japan where the young monks would sneak out at night, climb over the wall of the monastery to go drink and party with some women. And they'd have to climb over this wall. Well, one of the senior monks would go to the place where they would go over the wall, and he placed a box on the inside. So when they came back, they wouldn't have to leap over this wall a great distance. They would be able to touch the box and make it easier. And so when they came back, they realized that someone had placed the box there and it was easier. And what the senior monk said as they came over the wall was that he didn't scold them. He said, "Kadada o daiji ni," take care of your body. That was something similar that my father did. I remember as a teenager, I went, out with Ralph, a friend of mine, and we stayed out real late this one time. It was after, 2:30 or 3. We're at 4th Street Bowl, the local bowling alley where everybody was. Just playing pool, just hanging out. And I hadn't done that very often. But then my father came, and he didn't say anything. He wasn't angry. And again, he said something similar, take care of your body. And so I realized that he really cared, and he was worried. I guess he couldn't sleep knowing that I was out. And so I did go home, but I was with Ralph, and Ralph, was kind of not wild, but did things. And it was because he didn't have a father. His father had been killed in a farming accident. And so unfortunately, Ralph didn't have someone to guide him as my father had. Again, this is wisdom, not scolding me, just by example. And so we learned these 6 paramitas, perhaps, reading and looking at them, but we really learned them by receiving them from our elders. And so I wonder, are we being good examples for our children? We worry about Buddhism. These are the things that help us, guide us through life. And as we show by example our children, we realize that this helps us. And we realize that my effort awakens me to the efforts of others, that I've been receiving these things throughout my life. And again, this is the concept of non-duality, balancing these two opposites. And so we realize that our lives are guided by this duality all the time. We think, right, wrong, good, and bad. And yet as Buddhists, we have this thought that Ohigan reminds us that it is things together, opposites together, that make us whole. And so this idea of right and wrong, good or bad, we accept all sides, but we need to practice this thought of wholeness, because what it does is it brings us harmony. So with that, please join me in expressing our deepest appreciation for the efforts of others that help to guide me through this life. Nembutsu Gassho, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu.
Thank you very much, Sensei, for your very meaningful message today on for our Ohigan service. I think your message brings a lot of reflection for all of us on how we go about our daily lives and the practice of the six Paramitas as well. At this time, I'm pinch hitting for our temple president, Luann Lee. She wasn't able to attend today. So I'm pinch hitting for her with her words of appreciation. We'd like to thank Kenji Sensei for sharing his Dharma message to the Dharma School students and to the adults. You know, Sensei, your talks are very inspiring for all of us and very meaningful. And also to the Sangha, you know, everyone is aware that Kenji Sensei will be retiring next month, and he will be with us for a few more services. So up until Sunday, October 3rd. So Sensei, we really appreciate all that you have done for us these past 8 years. And thank you for sharing the Dharma. And for the Sangha, please log on to our Zoom or YouTube channel for the services in the next couple of weeks. Thank you to our minister's assistants, Reverend Mary Beth Smithy Smith, Reverend Laverne E. Modi, and Reverend Noriko Kawai for supporting Kenji Sensei with all of our spiritual activities. And to our minister's assistants in training, which include Yukari Williams, Arturo Rubio, and Sharon Sasaki for assisting Kenji Sensei and the MAs. Congratulations to the scholarship recipients. Your achievements are to be commended as you continue your educational journey. Many thanks to the Zoom technical support team of Kimberly Cruz, Bill Teague, and Jamie Shimizu. Your expertise with running these sessions are truly appreciated. We are very fortunate that your technical guidance allows us to continue to receive the Dharma virtually. And thank you to the Sangha for your participation with today's service and for your generous donations and continued support of the temple during these challenging times. We are all anxious for the day when we can gather in person. And in the meantime, continue to stay healthy and be safe. At this time, please bear with me, but I have some announcements to make. And I have a bunch, so thank you for your patience. Today, the temple is hosting the Japanese World War II Incarceration Memorial Legacy Project flag signing event. It's from 11:30 until 2 p.m. And it's for those from the temple members and the community who spent time in the internment camps during World War II. Judge Johnny Gogo from a Superior Court judge from Santa Clara County in San Jose will be here at the temple to welcome all the former internees and to encourage them to sign the flags. So if you're planning to come out, or if you're planning to bring your parents or family members, be sure to do it this afternoon between 11:30 and 2. Also, today is the final day to place your order for the BTSD t-shirts. We didn't have an Obon t-shirt this year, but very nice design for our BTSD temple shirt. There are youth, adult, and women's sizes, and the cost is $20 to $22. I believe there were order forms circulating. If you're not sure, you could contact the temple today. On September 23rd is the deadline to order your bento for the 75th anniversary drive-through event. The cost is $20 for a regular or vegetarian meal. Mailings were sent out about 2 weeks ago. You may order by mail or online. So on Saturday, September 25th, the Vista Buddhist Temple will host a tri-temple seminar, How Gradual Practices Lead to Sudden Insight. The seminar is from 3 to 4:30 p.m. on Zoom, and there is a link on the BTSD website for those interested in signing up. The Donna Group is accepting donations for the Asylum Seekers Donation Drive, which supports Minority Humanitarian Foundation. The donations are being accepted for the rest of this month. And the types of items they're looking for are diapers, wipes, baby formula, men's clothing, and coloring books for children. There's a flyer on the temple's website with more information. October 3rd is our Shotsuki Hoyo monthly memorial service on Zoom. And that service will begin at 10 o'clock. And this will be Kenji Sensei's final Dharma message that he will present to the Sangha. So please sign up for that service. October 10th is our 95th anniversary service from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Zoom, and more information will be coming out on that service. Also that day will be the drive-through event, 95th anniversary drive-through event from noon until 2 p.m. Pick up your pre-ordered bentos, and if you ordered a BTSD t-shirt, you can pick it up at that time. You can check out the 95th anniversary project, our painting project of the main building. Our temple main building has received a fresh coat of paint. And so stop by and check it out. And also on that day will be our farewell to Kenji Sensei and Mrs. Karen. They will be, as you know, that they will be retiring to San Jose after 8 years of dedicated service to our temple. They're choosing this time to retire so that they can be, so they themselves can enjoy their family members, and especially their grandchildren who are sprouting up, and it'll be a nice, very nice retirement for them. But we will certainly miss you, Sensei and Mrs. Karen, and we want to extend our best wishes to you and especially on this particular day. So Sensei and Kenji Sensei and Karen will be here during the drive-through for you for them to welcome you, and you may extend your best wishes to them. Just a few more announcements here. The Temple Scouts are assisting with a stuffed animal drive, which will be held on Sunday, October 10th. And during the drive-through event, all donations will be given to children in area hospitals, and therefore the stuffed animals should be brand new. You may individuals may also make monetary donations, and if you cannot donate on October 10th, the Scouts will receive your donations up until October 21st. The BWA is taking orders for its annual brittle sale from now through November 18th. More information will appear in the on the temple website and in the October Busei script. So, and you can also contact the BWA member for more details. The book club for October will feature a book entitled Tropic of Orange. The author is Karen Te Yamashita. And if interested, you could contact any BWA member for details. And then the final announcement that I have today is always please check the temple for updates on the temple website and in the next issue of the Busei script newsletter. So that's all the current announcements we have for the temple. And as you can see, although we're shuttered, we still have a lot of activities going on through our virtual and our fundraising activities. At this time, I'd like to close our Ohigan service for 2021. So if you can please join me in Gasho. Please put your hands together in Gasho. As one little candle lights another, so the light of Buddha's compassion will pass from one mind to another mind endlessly. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Again, thank you very much for your participation today. I think we had well over 50 participants in our Zoom. And now you're welcome to stay on and enjoy the Zoom social that will be open to all of us. So thank you again for your attendance and participation, and look forward to seeing all of you in our future Zoom services and activities. And have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.